the dots with me at these times on DD India.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. New Delhi hosting the visiting Singaporean Prime Minister Wong to hold talks with Prime Minister Modi, discussion on issues of mutual interest. GST Council approves 2-rate tax slab effective from September 22nd, slashes rates from chapati to TVs. Prime Minister Modi hails the decision. Ahead of Ukraine coalition meeting, Zelensky pushes allies for more pressure on Russia, while Putin willing to fight. Trump plans to hold talks. In the Asia Cup, India takes on Malaysia in their second Super 4 match on Thursday. India played out a 2-2 draw against defending champions Korea in the opening game. And on to the details now, with an aim to reaffirm the continued commitment of the two countries to further strengthen their comprehensive strategic partnership. Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong arrived in India on Tuesday for a 3-day visit, during which the two countries will sign key agreements to shore up ties in key sectors. The leader will hold talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the national capital today. On Wednesday, the visiting Prime Minister Wong also paid tributes to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat. Later, he also met Union Minister and Bharatiya Janata Party Chief JP Nadda in New Delhi. And the 56th GST Council meeting, chaired by Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Wednesday, gave its nod to a two-tier rate structure of 5% and 18%. With the new structure set to be implemented from September 22nd, at a presser, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that the main drivers of the economy, that is farmers and agriculture, health, were the focus of the decision of the Council.
Man and middle class items में there is a complete reduction. Reduction from 18 or from 12 to 5%. I list out those items, all of whom have come to 5% from either 18 or from 12. Common man items such as hair oil, toilet soap, soap bars, shampoos, toothbrushes, toothpaste, bicycles, tableware, kitchenware and other household articles have all come to 5, whether they were in 18 or whether they were in 12. Similarly, reduction of GST from 5% to nil, 5 से 0 में जाने वाले items indicate कर रहा हूँ. Ultra high temperature milk, the UHT milk, chena or paneer, all the Indian breads will see nil rate. So roti kisi ke upar bhi, chapati or roti or paratha or whatever it is, they all come to nil. Reduction of GST from 12% or from 18% to 5%, इसमें food items बहुत सारे हैं, नमकीन से भुजिया है, sauces है, pasta है, instant noodles है, chocolates, coffee, preserved meat, cornflakes, butter, ghee, ये सब 5% में आ रही है. फिर reduction from 28 to 18%, इसमें मिडिल क्लास के एस्पिरेशंस मीट करने वाले बहुत सारे चीज़ हैं. एयर conditioning machines, TVs which are over 32 inches, all TVs now at 18%. I want to underline, all TVs are now at 18%. Dishwashing machines, small cars, motorcycles equal to or less than 350 cc are all now coming to 18.
Well, the GST Council also approved a special tax of 40% on sin goods such as cigarettes, pan masala and gutka.
That special rate of 40% has also been proposed and it's cleared. That will apply only to pan masala, cigarettes, gutka and other tobacco products such as chewing tobacco, products like zarda, unmanufactured tobacco and BD. All goods including aerated waters containing added sugar or other sweetening matter or flavored, caffeinated beverages, carbonated beverages or fruit drink or carbonated beverages with fruit juice and other non-alcoholic beverages, excluding those specified at lower rates, will all be covered under 40%.
Well, the changes on GST of all products except sin goods will be applicable from 22nd of September.
All this will be effective 22nd September 2025, which is the first day of Navaratri. The changes in GST rates of all goods except for pan masala, gutka, cigarettes, chewing tobacco, products like zarda, unmanufactured tobacco, BD, will be implemented with effect from 22nd September 25. Except for these, for all items, the new rates will come into effect from 22nd September.
Well, the Finance Minister also announced a reduction of GST on 33 life-saving drugs and medicines from 12% to 0%.
Related items, 33 life-saving drugs and medicines, and they all come down from 12 to 0. From 5 to 0 and 3 life-saving drugs and medicines used for treatment of cancer, rare diseases and other severe chronic diseases. There are several drugs and medicines coming down to 5 from 12. I'm not listing each one of them out. Like that, very many other items, diagnostic kits, reagents, blood glucose monitoring system, all of them are coming to 5%.
Well, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced that insurance services which currently attract 18% GST will now be fully exempted.
Exemption of GST on all individual life insurance policies, whether term life, ULIP or endowment policies and reinsurance thereof, to make insurance affordable for common man and increase the insurance coverage in the country. Exemption of GST on all individual health insurance policies, including family floater policies and policies for senior citizens, and reinsurance thereof to make insurance affordable for the common man and increase the insurance coverage in the country.
Well, during the presser, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that the changes on GST of all products except sin goods will be applicable from 22nd of September.
All this will be effective 22nd September 2025, which is the first day of Navaratri. The changes in GST rates of all goods except for pan masala, gutka, cigarettes, chewing tobacco, products like zarda, unmanufactured tobacco, BD, will be implemented with effect from 22nd September 25. Except for these, for all items, the new rates will come into effect from 22nd September.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the GST Council has given its nod to sweeping reforms in the indirect tax regime, calling it a next generation step to ease the burden on citizens and boost economic growth. In a post on X, he wrote, and I quote, the union government had prepared a detailed proposal for broad-based GST rate rationalization and process reforms aimed at ease of living for the common man and strengthening the economy. Glad to state that GST Council, comprising the union and the states, has collectively agreed to the proposals submitted by the union government on GST rate cuts and reforms which will benefit the common man, farmers, MSMEs, middle class, women and youth. The wide-ranging reforms will improve lives of our citizens and ensure ease of doing business for all, especially small traders and businesses. And the cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Modi on Wednesday approved a 1,500 crore rupees incentive scheme to develop recycling capacity in the country for the separation and production of critical minerals from secondary sources. Well, the scheme is part of the National Critical Mineral Mission, which is aimed at building the domestic capacity of and supply chain resilience in critical minerals. The scheme will be applicable to investments in new units as well as expansion of capacity, modernization and diversification of existing units. The scheme will provide incentive for the recycling value chain, which is involved in actual extraction of critical minerals and not the value chain involved in only black mass production. Also, the scheme will have a tenure of 6 years from financial year 2025 to 26 to financial year 2030 to 31. Expected beneficiaries will be both large established recyclers as well as small new recyclers, including startups for whom 1/3 of the scheme outlay has been earmarked. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that Cabinet's decision on critical mineral recycling will boost capacities to recycle battery waste. PM wrote on X, and I quote, this decision by the Union Cabinet pertaining to an incentive scheme to promote critical mineral recycling will boost capacities to recycle battery waste and e-waste, promote investment and encourage job creation, unquote. Well, India is seeking alternative markets in response to the imposition of tariffs on Indian products in the US. Following a free trade agreement with the UK, a similar agreement with the European Union is anticipated in the coming months. And EU trade delegation is expected to visit India this month for the 13th round of talks. Visiting German Foreign Minister reaffirmed Germany's commitment to finalizing an India-EU FTA at the earliest. DD India's Dheeraj Das has more on this.
A free trade agreement with European Union could be expected in coming months as EU's trade delegation is scheduled to visit India this month for the 13th round of negotiations. German Foreign Minister Johann Wedful, who met External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal in New Delhi on Wednesday, reaffirmed Germany's support to conclude India-EU FTA at the earliest.
Germany strongly supports the EU-India free trade agreement, and we hope that this can be speedily negotiated so that it can be concluded before the end of this year, in autumn this year, and hopefully lead to a ratification process.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar appreciated Germany's push for expediting the free trade agreement negotiations with the European Union.
It will certainly be insightful for us to hear from you Germany's perspectives on key global and regional issues. We count on your support to deepen our relationship with the European Union and expedite the FTA negotiations. India and Germany have a strong history of multilateral cooperation, which I'm confident will be further advanced through our talks today.
Earlier, India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said FTA negotiations between India and the EU are in an advanced stage as the two sides are making significant progress.
We have reached a very advanced stage in our FTA with the European Union. Commerce Secretary, as we speak, is in meetings in Brussels with his counterpart, the DG of EU. Their team is coming down later this week and will be in active negotiation with us. The Minister, Trade Commissioner, Mr. Maros Srkovic, is coming down on 12th of this month, and we are making very active and significant progress.
The EU was the largest trading partner of India for goods, with the trade being $137.41 billion in 2023-24. India is EU's ninth largest trading partner, accounting for 2.4% of the total EU's trade. Trade between India and the European Union has grown by around 90% in the past decade. Some 6,000 European companies are present in India. The European Union is one of the world's largest trading blocs, and the FTA is a significant step to strengthen economic ties on both sides. The agreement will reduce trade barriers, enhance market access, and create new opportunities for businesses. Dheeraj Das's report for DD India.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Boat capsizes in Nigeria's Niger state, killing at least 60. European leaders post condolences after Lisbon funicular railway crash. And Yuki Bhambri and Michael Venus keep India's hope alive, moves to semi-finals.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. And moving on, French President Emmanuel Macron will co-chair with the Prime Minister of United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, the Coalition of the Willing meeting in hybrid format on Thursday in Paris. During the meeting, leaders will discuss the work on security guarantees for Ukraine carried out by chiefs of staff in recent weeks and will take stock of the consequences of Russia's persistent refusal to make peace. The group, which includes EU countries as well as Turkey, Canada and Australia, have been discussing how to provide Ukraine with military support after a truce to prevent future Russian attacks. European leaders and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will speak with US President Donald Trump on phone following the Paris summit. US President Donald Trump also said on Wednesday that he plans to hold talks about Ukraine conflict in the coming days after his Alaska summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in August failed to achieve a breakthrough. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron said that Europe was ready to offer Ukraine security guarantees as soon as a peace deal was agreed. Talking to media with his Ukrainian counterpart, Zelensky, Macron said security guarantees for Ukraine were ready and will be endorsed on Thursday by the Coalition of the Willing, backing Kyiv. Macron was hosting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the Élysée Palace in Paris on the eve of Paris summit.
Nous sommes prêts. Nous, Européens,
we are ready as Europeans to offer security guarantees to Ukraine and the Ukrainian people the day a peace deal is signed. This is the commitment we made in Washington.
ont été préparés.
Well, speaking on the occasion, Zelensky said the united position of Europe, Ukraine and the United States would help to increase Russia to move towards a diplomatic solution.
На жаль, поки що ми не бачимо.
Unfortunately, we have not received any signals from Russia that it truly wants to end this war. But I am convinced that our union, above all the Union of Europe, the Europe that has been at our side since the beginning of this war, and that this union between Europe and the United States will help us increase pressure on Russia to move towards a diplomatic solution to this complex issue, so important for peace in Ukraine and for achieving a stable peace in Ukraine and in Europe.
Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Wednesday that he's open to ending Ukraine conflict through negotiations if common sense prevails, but warned he's prepared to use force if necessary. However, Putin reiterated his firm conditions, including Ukraine dropping NATO ambitions and ceding control over eastern regions like Donbass. While open to meeting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Moscow, he questioned the legitimacy of Zelensky's presidency. Putin made these remarks while addressing a press conference in Beijing.
Well, the US president is not without humor. It's clear. We all know this well. I have a good relationship with him. We communicate with each other on a first-name basis. I can tell you, and I hope he will hear this too, as strange as it may seem, but during these 4 days of US-Russia summit in Alaska, during the most diverse negotiations both informally and formally, no one has ever expressed any negative judgments about the current US administration.
Well, Putin also said he's ready to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky if Zelensky comes to Moscow.
By the way, US President Donald Trump asked me to hold such a meeting. I said this is possible. At the end of the day, if President Zelensky is ready, let him come to Moscow and such a meeting will take place.
And moving on, at least 15 people were killed and several injured by derailment on a funicular railway in Lisbon, Portugal on Wednesday. All of the victims have been recovered from the wreckage, an official said, adding that they included foreigners. Rescuers confirmed a total of 15 dead and 18 injured. Details of their identities were not immediately available. Authorities did not identify the victims or disclose their nationalities, but said some foreign nationals were among the dead. The car at the bottom of the Gloria line was apparently undamaged, but video from bystanders showed it jolting violently when the other one derailed and several passengers jumping out of its windows and people shouting. Emergency workers pulled people out of the wreckage. Police investigators were inspecting the site and the Prosecutor General's office said it would open a formal investigation as is customary in public transport accidents. Portugal's government declared a day of national mourning on Thursday. Also, European leaders took to social media to express their condolences after the deadly crash in Lisbon's funicular railway crash. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen sent her condolences to the affected families. Portuguese Prime Minister Luís Montenegro expressed condolences for the victims in a statement and said an investigation has been launched to determine the cause of the accident. The mayor of Lisbon, Carlos Moedas, announced 3 days of mourning for the victims of the tragic accident on X. President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, and Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, also expressed condolences to Portugal. And Nigeria's north-central Niger state, at least 60 people have died and dozens were rescued after a boat carrying over 100 passengers capsized. The vessel departed from Tangansule in Malale district on Tuesday morning, heading to Daga for a condolence visit when it struck a submerged tree stump near Gosawa community in Borgu local government area. Abdullahi Baba Ara, chair of Borgur local government area, said the casualty figure was rising. The district head of Shagumi said that he was at the scene shortly after the accident. He added that 4 victims were buried on Tuesday in accordance with Islamic rites and that women and children made up the majority of the deceased. The Niger State Emergency Management Agency said emergency personnel and local divers were searching for the victims. The agency said the boat was overloaded and collided with a tree stump, causing it to capsize. And in the US Open, Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime secured a hard-fought comeback victory over Alex de Minaur to reach the men's singles semi-final. The Canadian came from a set down to win a 4-set thriller and reach the semi-finals at a major for the first time since 2021. Australia's de Minaur has reached 6 Grand Slam quarter-finals, including 3 in New York, but has never gone beyond that stage. It was a back-and-forth match which included a combined total of 22 double faults and 93 unforced errors. In women's single, Amanda Anisimova executed a stunning upset over Polish second seed Iga Swiatek to reach a last four stage. Swiatek was among the top contenders after her Cincinnati Open triumph, but she struggled to find rhythm in the quarterfinals. Anisimova got her revenge on the biggest stage in American tennis after she was handed a brutal 6-0, 6-0 whitewash by Swiatek in the Wimbledon final. And in the men's double, India's Yuki Bhamri and New Zealand's Michael Venus booked a semi-final berth after a historic win in the last 8 stage. Yuki Bhamri and Michael Venus progressed to semi-finals after defeating Croatia's Nikola Mektic and America's Rajiv Ram. Ram and Mektic put pressure on Indian-New Zealand duo, but they stood strong as Bhamri put away a volley at the first set point. The tightly contested second set was won by Ram and Mektic in the tie breaks. However, the 14-seeded pair rallied for the deciding set and progressed to their first ever Grand Slam semi-finals. And in the Hockey Asia Cup, Mandeep Singh and Hardik Singh lead India to a 2-2 draw against South Korea in their Super 4 match in Rajgir, Bihar. The hosts took a lead through Hardik Singh's amazing field goal in the first quarter. Korea equalized with a penalty corner. Late in the game, the visitors also capitalized on a penalty corner and took a 2-1 lead. In the final quarter, Mandeep scored the crucial equalizer, helping India maintain their unbeaten run in the tournament. Later on Thursday, India will clash with Malaysia in the second Super 4 match. Malaysia heads into the game with momentum as they beat China 2-0 to keep their unbeaten streak alive as well. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now, and we'll be back with more news. That's a break here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.
Come